What is up, everybody? Matt Moda here to give you some NFL player prop bangers. We're talking Thursday Night Football, Week 8, Vikings versus the Rams. I'm going to have two NFL player prop picks for you guys to lock in for this game. Hopefully, with Cooper Kupp back, the Rams are able to keep this game close. Regardless, as I mentioned, I'm going to have two plays for you guys to lock in. Not doing any ladder plays as of right now. If I change my mind, I will let you guys know. Overall, this NFL season, we've just been on an absolute heater basically since week 3. That continued last week. Granted, I only really had one day of picks because I got back from my trip. I got back on Sunday. I only really had games for Monday night. Luckily, that went really, really well. I gave out a couple plays for Thursday Night Football and for Sunday. Both of those cashed. 2 plays, both cashed. And then Monday Night Football went really, really well. Up over 3.5 units last week in the NFL betting slate. And then on the entire season, we are up over 23 units on the year. My last video, I had a typo when I listed out. I just had incorrect information when I listed out the units profited. The number that you see on the screen here is actually the correct number that we are up on the season. So I apologize for that. Regardless, it's been an amazing, amazing season. 35% ROI is crazy. Now, it's not going to keep that up the entire season. That number will come down a little bit. But it's just been an incredible start, and I want to ride out this heater as long as possible. So, with that in mind, let's start getting into the bangers for this week. So, play number 1. I'm taking Cooper Kupp over 6.5 receptions. I was able to get this at minus 108 odds at FanDuel. Now, there are going to be some people that might be scared off of Cooper Kupp because he's coming back from his first game from injury since week 2. He missed everything since week 2. He's also amidst trade rumors and all that stuff. None of that stuff bothers me. I think that he is going to rack up a bunch of receptions in this game. The fact of the matter is, when Cooper Kupp is on the field and he's healthy, he just gets peppered with targets. And the fact that they held him out last week in preparation of him playing on Thursday Night Football makes me feel pretty good that he's going to have a normal workload. Maybe not 100% of the snaps, but in the 90s is kind of what I'm expecting from Cooper Kupp. And when he's on the field with Matthew Stafford, he just gobbles up targets. That's really what happens. He's played one game this season in which he was healthy. 14 receptions on an absolutely ridiculous 21 targets. Now, I'm not projecting 21 targets and 14 receptions for Cooper Kupp. He's probably not going to have that type of ceiling game. But the Rams are going up against a Vikings offense that can score. The Rams are probably going to need to pass the majority of this game in order to keep up, right? They're probably going to need to they're going to be losing or they're going to need to pass to keep up. It's kind of the expectation here. And we've seen this with Cooper Kupp where he's missed time due to injury, come back and immediately been targeted in the middle of the season. We literally saw this last year. He missed the first 4 games of the year with a hamstring injury. His first game back, he played mid 90% of the snaps. He had 8 receptions on 12 targets, and that was after missing the first month of the year. And that was also after missing the entire preseason of that year. And that was with a healthy Puka Nacua who gobbled up a bunch of targets on the other side of the field. No Puka Nacua for Thursday Night Football. He has not made it back yet from his knee injury. So there are a lot of reasons to believe that last year, what we saw, again, 12 targets, 8 receptions in his first game back after missing the first 4 games of the year, plus the entire training camp, kind of similar to what we're seeing tonight, just a little bit later in the season. And in terms of the matchup, the Vikings have a good defense, and I'm not going to tell you anything other than the Vikings have a good defense, but they have quietly been lit up by opposing number 1 wide receivers. According to DVOA, they have literally allowed the most receiving yards in the NFL to number 1 wide receivers on the other team. They've allowed, again, this is per DVOA, 93.6 receiving yards per game to number 1 options. They're one of only 2 teams that have allowed even above 90 receiving yards per game to these top options. Now, DVOA doesn't track receptions, but the fact that they're giving up a ton of work to the opposing number 1 receiver, that's good news, and that is obviously going to be Cooper Kupp, without a doubt going to be Cooper Kupp. And if you just look and take a step back, they're allowing the second most passing yards per game to wide receivers. Now, that's because they're winning a lot and teams are passing against them, but it's also because they're kind of a pass funnel. They don't allow a ton on the ground, so they'll give up these completions because, over the course of the game, they're able to do enough to stop the teams from scoring, but they give up a ton of yards. So it's kind of the Ravens in the same way. The Ravens don't give up anything on the ground, but they can be had through the air. Now, if this was a completely normal situation for Cooper Kupp where he wasn't in trade rumors or he wasn't coming back from an injury, I would probably fully ladder his reception prop up to 10 plus, 12 plus receptions. But there's a little bit too much uncertainty for a ceiling play. He could easily have another 10 plus receptions. I would not be shocked at all, but I, as of right now, am just going to stick with the over 6.5 receptions regardless. I'm expecting him to have a great game and be heavily targeted in his first game back. I think he'll at least get to 7. And if you wanted to go in ladder, I would not blame you. I still might do it. I just want to think on it a little bit more. Regardless, 1 unit on him to get to 7 receptions. That's our first play of the game. Before we get into our next one, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not already. The NBA season is back. We had a rough first day, depending on when you're watching this. Hopefully the second day went better. But NBA coming out, make sure you're going to want to be subscribed to get notified when any video comes out. And then for this video, always nice when people like and comment. I love reading through all the comments, even if you disagree with the play, you know, shouting out plays that you like. I love reading through them and at least giving a heart to the ones that I don't actually respond to. So do all that stuff helps me out a ton. Our second pick of the video and our final one, Justin Jefferson, 90 plus receiving yards, plus 120 odds at DraftKings. Another 1 unit McSlam on this one. So instead of climbing some ladders, I'm just doing 2 1 unit bangers. If we go 1-1, depending on which one cashes, we'll at least break even or we'll be up a little bit. But we're attempting to go 2-0. Now, looking at Justin Jefferson, it's kind of interesting. He's having a really, really good year. If you just look at his receiving yards, it's not like he's consistently just blowing his receiving yardage prop out of the water. Now, I mean, his is always priced really high because Justin Jefferson's really good, but he's only hit the 90 receiving yard mark twice this season. He's only gone over 100 plus once. But he scored a bunch of touchdowns. So if you wanted to take his anytime touchdown, I wouldn't blame you. The odds are a little bit nuked, which is why I did not do it. But he's been very, very consistent with no dud games. Taking out week 1, which was a gross game against the Giants where the Giants could not do anything. Since that game, he's had 80 receiving yards in all 5 games for the Vikings, right? At least we can count on the floor of 80 yards. And what I like that about backing Justin Jefferson, aside the fact that he's my he is my number 1 receiver in the NFL, the best receiver in the NFL. He gets consistent targets. He gets smart targets within the offense. And all that stuff just makes it so, again, get that floor at 80. If you wanted to be safe, you could take 80. Everybody knows me. I love to pump it up, get that 90 number for plus money. But looking at Justin Jefferson, second highest target rate in the NFL at 30.9%. Only Malik Neighbors has a higher target share than Justin Jefferson. And Neighbors is absurd, 34.5%. They're the only 2 receivers above even 30%. But he gets targets down the field, which is why I like his yards over his receptions. His ADOT, average depth of target, is 12.5, meaning his average target is 12.5 yards down the field. You look at every single receiver that's top 10 in target rate, he has the second highest ADOT. The only one above him is George Pickens, who not a very high volume of passing team in the Steelers, and he obviously gets targeted way down the field. But again, all receivers in the top 10 in target rate, Justin Jefferson has the second highest average depth of target. He's second in the NFL in yards per route run, and he's third in first read target rate, meaning what percentage of the targets is he the first read on? Third in the entire NFL. And what I like about the Vikings, as I mentioned, they're a very smart offense. You know, one of my frustrations with some coaches is that they just use receivers in the same role, the same side of the field, and don't do anything unique with them. I mean, A.J. Brown is kind of an example of this with the Eagles, where, I mean, A.J. Brown's having a really good year. Look at his route tree. If he's on the left side, he's running a go route. If he's on the right side, he's running a curl route. And there's really no creativity with their route distribution for A.J. Brown. That's not the case with Justin Jefferson and the Vikings. They run him everywhere. He runs about 65% of his routes on the outside and 35% in the slot. So if you think he has a matchup advantage in the slot, the Vikings will put him there. They'll have him line up on the left side, on the right side, any type of route tree. And obviously this has to do with how good Jefferson is. Also a very good, smart Vikings offense. And the Rams defense, not very good. So this is a situation where I think the Vikings are going to be able to have success throwing the ball. DVOA has the Rams as the 5th worst defense overall with the 24th ranked passing defense. So very bad defense overall, very bad passing defense. The thing with the Rams is their offense has been so bad with all the injuries that teams haven't really needed to throw on them a ton. Hopefully with Cooper Kupp back, the Rams can keep up. But when teams have thrown on the Rams, they have had success doing so. The Rams are allowing the 4th most yards per route run, the 2nd most yards per target, and the most yards per reception. All that stuff lines up well with Justin Jefferson, who maybe isn't going to have, 10 receptions, but could get to 90 yards on a bunch of big plays. So that's our second play. Justin Jefferson, 90 plus receiving yards. We're looking at the superstars to have big games on Thursday night. Hopefully that comes through for us, and we're looking at a 2-0 day, keeping our NFL hot streak alive, giving us some more profit to withstand the beginning of the NBA season, which has only been 1 day, so it's not like that's bad or anything, but it was a bad 1 day. And then obviously giving us a bunch of units to play for the rest of the week. But that is all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching. Again, make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe. And then the last thing I'll mention before we get out of here is that I do have a Dub Club where I send all my plays out for $5 a month. $5 gets everything that I'm playing across all sports, so includes NBA, obviously, sent directly to your phone via text, email, or Telegram. The way it works is as soon as I decide what a play is, the first thing I do is send it out to Dub Club. So if you don't want to watch the YouTube videos, or you don't always have time to watch the YouTube videos, or by the time you watch them, the odds are different, that's why we have the Dub Club. The first thing I do is send it out there so you're able to get the same exact odds that I get it at. If you're interested, check that out. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. If you're not interested, no problem. You can still get everything for free, both on YouTube and on Twitter. And that's all we got. I appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.